So today I just wanted to spend a little bit of time. I put together some of the more common questions that I get asked, and I hope you find them helpful. If I've missed a question or anything, please drop it in the comments below or shoot me a quick note. I'd love to make sure that we answer your questions as well. How do I know when I'm ready to buy a home? So the decision to buy a house, it's really a big one, right? So you're really planting your flag, so to speak, in saying, okay, I'm ready to set roots down. A couple of things: make sure that you're financially stable, right? Make sure you're firmly planted with your job, happy with the surroundings, familiar with the area, and should be somewhere where you can see yourself living for the next 5 to 10 years, right? It's not going to, if it's your first home, it's not going to be your forever house, but you're going to be there for a good little bit. So make sure you're comfortable with that. Make sure that life has settled down for you a little bit. How much money do I need to buy a home? I've done a couple of videos on this one. Here in Southwest Ohio, there are loans such as the USDA loan that is zero money down, no down payment. Of course, the VA loan is no money down. But typically, you're going to run into FHA or conventional loans. So your down payment's going to be 3.5% up to 20%. So it's important that you choose your lender. They'll let you know what type of loan programs you qualify for, and then really hone down on what your down payment is actually going to be. So the short answer, it's going to go anywhere from 0 to 20%. So make sure you talk with your lender about that one. What are the minimum financial requirements to buy a home? This one gets a little more complex, and that's why just choosing the right lender is so crucial, because they're going to be able to go over all of your different requirements. But typically, lenders are going to consider factors such as your credit score, income, employment history, and then what you'll hear referred to as a DTI, or the debt to income ratio. They're making sure that your monthly payment works into your budget. They want to make sure that you're not house poor. And so what I like to tell my clients is, just because the bank says you can borrow $200,000 doesn't mean that works into your monthly budget either. It pays to start asking some questions up front so you can see exactly what's going to work out best for you. Who qualifies as a first-time home buyer? A first-time home buyer is generally defined as somebody who hasn't owned a home in the past, or at least for the last 3 years. So there are different programs that are available to first-time home buyers. But again, we just did a video a few weeks ago. A lot of those first-time home buyer programs, the misconception is that you have to be a first-time home buyer. A lot of those programs are open to anybody, even if this is your third or fourth home. Can I buy a home with no money down? Can I buy a home with no money down? There are programs out there, right? The VA is one option, no down payment for us vets out there. USDA loan, and there are even certain types of FHA loans that don't require a down payment. When is a good time to buy a home? Boy, I get asked this question a lot. Yesterday was a great time to buy a home. I'm being facetious, but in all sincerity, home prices are still appreciating. This market is not crashing as some had predicted at the end of last year. So stop the rent cycle as quickly as you can. Historically, I think real estate has only lost its value once in the last 100 years, and that was back in 2008, 2009. And those were some extenuating circumstances. So now's the best time to buy a home. It will really just start building your personal wealth right away. Is it cheaper to build a home or to buy a home? Now, most of the time, there's always going to be some exceptions to the rule, but most of the time, it is less expensive to buy a home than it is to build. What's the best mortgage for a first-time home buyer? So the best mortgage for the first-time home buyer is going to be what is going to work best for you. So there is no, this program is always used for first-time home buyers, or this program is never used. Talk with your loan officer to find out what it is you exactly qualify for and what's going to fit you the best. There is no one size fits all. And so it's really going to be dependent on you, where you're at in life, and what the next few years in life look like for you. What's the difference between a mortgage pre-approval and a pre-qualification? That is a wonderful question. So a pre-qualification this is where you've had a conversation with a loan officer. Maybe you have verbally let them know, this is how much I make versus this is how much I spend. They may have asked you for a couple of pay stubs, but nothing nothing too significant, right? And they'll come back and say, based on what you've told me, your pre-qualification is going to be $150,000. Okay. It's been verified. They've asked a couple of questions. They feel comfortable enough. They've probably pulled your credit score. But now, as we get into a pre approval, they've requested previous year's taxes, they've requested W-2s, they've done employment verification. You've been through the underwriting process. So that is now your pre-approval is already underwritten, which almost makes you as good as cash. It's just a much stronger, meaning they've already scrutinized your file and they've uncovered anything that might have already been hidden down there. What credit score do I need to buy a house? It's a great question. Generally speaking, 600 to 620 is going to be the bottom number. So anything over 620, odds are really good that you're going to be approved for a loan. Anything less than that, you're going to want to start asking some questions and let that loan officer really dig into your file a little more just to make sure that we don't run into any surprises. And then how do I apply for a loan with Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac? So these are government-backed institutions. Any lender you talk to will be able to walk you through that process. Their applications, their applications will cover that. So if you qualify for that type of loan, you will have already given them the information they need, and you're going to be well underway. So I hope this helps. Again, these were just some of the general questions that I get asked on a pretty regular basis. If I missed a question or didn't address it, please drop it in the comments below, or feel free to reach out to me directly. The process can be a little overwhelming, but you're doing the right things by starting to ask the questions early in the process so you know exactly what you're in store for. I hope that helps, and until next time, we'll talk soon.